True to its adopted storytelling style, Episode 2 of Like Flowers in Sand begins with Kim Baekdu's voiceover introducing us to the mysterious Oh Do-sik. He narrates how Do-sik is the daughter of a renowned Sirium, leader of the neighborhood kids, and fearless as we watch a young Do-sik pick up a live snake and scare the other kids. He narrates how Do-sik had a fiery temper as we see her beating a boy on screen. All boys in town had been beaten by Do-sik at least once. Moreover, she was the best of the best in Sirium as we see Do-sik losing to her in a warm beachy seaside landscape. The narrative shifts to pick up where the first episode left off, quite literally as Baekdu stares back at the screen, lying on the ground exclaiming at a supposed Do-sik in front of him. The woman in white seems a little stunned at Baekdu's friendly scolding about not reaching out sooner. The shifts to the Miran and Jinsu's conversation about Do-sik being a woman in the cafe. Just like the viewers, Miran assumed that Do-sik was a man due to her masculine name. We find that except for 3 people including Baekdu, nobody knows what really happened in its entirety, but it's something unpleasant. Meanwhile, the woman in white finally declares that she is not Oh Do-sik, leaving Baekdu awkwardly confused. The next morning, Baekdu's police officer friend Cho Suk-hui is still adamant about the reservoir accident being suspicious while he and his teammates search for a runaway dog named Snowball. Meanwhile, Baekdu's father is one of the 3 people who know the truth about Do-sik, sees the woman in white, sighs as if he changed his mind, and returns. He goes over to join the former players' hangout spot where they discuss the ongoing developments in the Sirium world. Baekdu visits the police station to confirm the identity of the woman he met. He asks Sukho to do a background check on her where Sukho asserts that since Do-sik was ugly, the woman cannot be her, commenting Do-sik is uglier in daylight before leaving Baekdu as confused as ever. Meanwhile, we have the woman muttering, "Go," under her breath as Baekdu peeps at her from behind. The scene changes with Baekdu's former team having a barbecue and discussing how Dong-suk left the team right after the tournament to join a different team. They comment how they haven't seen the coach around as well. Meanwhile, Baek, still preoccupied with confirming the woman's identity, meets Jinsu, who seems like he has something to say regarding the match, but decides against it and leaves. Miran waves at Baekdu, leaving him to term her as a weirdo while she gazes at Baekdu leaving, seeming interested. Elsewhere, the neighborhood aunties are busy gossiping when a newcomer lady approaches them and asks them for directions for the neighborhood meeting. Baekdu comes back home to find his brothers preparing a meal for the neighborhood meeting. On being questioned, they proclaim that they can easily recognize Do-sik as she is ugly while contrarily commenting on how pretty the woman residing in Do-sik's old house is, much to Baekdu's disappointment. At night, all the neighborhood ladies arrive at Baekdu's house. As they are eating, following Baekdu's intense gaze, one of them asks the newcomer's name. She replies feebly, "Oh Yoo-jaeon." She answers the follow-up questions and tells the group that she is in town due to work as a civil servant. Baekdu's mother finally puts a stop to more intrusive questions. Jinsu's mother speculates that the victim was pushed by someone to his death in the reservoir, and they have a hearty laugh upon finding that she gained her information from Suk-hui. It is revealed that the victim was Baekdu's last customer when Baekdu was busy counting the get-together collection money. The detectives working on the reservoir case speculate that it could have been a murder from the autopsy report. Yoo-jaeon confronts Baekdu, who is following her, and reiterates that she is not Oh Do-sik, but Baekdu says that he feels that she is Do-sik. She questions if he doesn't have to be at practice, to which Baekdu replies that he has retired. There is a complete shift in her persona as she relays that if she was Do-sik, hypothetically speaking, she would be highly disappointed. Yoo-jaeon is clearly and visibly annoyed after hearing about Baekdu's retirement and comes to her senses when Baekdu says that she sounds like Do-sik. Tae-baek visits the governor on rumors of disbandment of the Sirium team. Meanwhile, Baekdu picks up his things from the training center, trying to avoid meeting the players. While on his way back, he sees Oh Yoo-jaeon meeting the team as the new general manager. On being questioned about her instatement, she hurls an athlete twice her size on the ground, making Baekdu, who is watching them from afar, comment baffled, "Seriously? And you say you are not Do-sik?" Further, Coach Sangchul has been away and cannot be reached. Meanwhile, Sangchul is in his car, seemingly terrified in a deserted place. The scene shifts and Yu Jiang is in the office looking through player profiles, commenting on what happened to the Sirium prodigy Kim Baekdu when Baekdu and his father enter the training center. Tae-bek insists on assessing Baekdu's skills upon the governor's insulting remarks about Baekdu. In a tearful confession, he relays his feeling of complete hopelessness and dejection. Tae-bek leaves him teary-eyed while Yu Jiang secretly watches the two. She later leaves Baekdu lying on the floor asking for some time alone. She returns, and at the same time, an unknown man enters the training center. This time, speaking in the regional dialect, it's evident that she is Do-sik. The episode ends when she is about to accept this fact, but stops midway when the unknown man enters the ground and calls her honey, much to the astonishment of Baekdu. The episode review. Suspicions are heightened in this episode as in one of the scenes, we find the police investigating connections to a match-fixing criminal organization. Connecting the dots with how suspiciously Coach Park Sangchul and Lim Dong-suk acted during the tournament, it seems possible that the coach might be part of the organization. He seems to be on the run from someone or something. Meanwhile, Do-sik is definitely back in town for a reason. We wonder if this has something to do with the ongoing investigation since she called herself a civil servant. Moreover, the man who called her honey seems suspicious. It seemed like he purposely prevented her from confirming her real identity. All in all, something is brewing in the shadows, echoing something wicked this way come.